So Elon Musk went on the Joe Rogan podcast yesterday, and I feel like something like this normally would be kind of like internet shattering, two of the most popular people in the whole country having a conversation with each other. But clearly, the whole Trump Zelensky meeting took over the whole internet yesterday. So I think this kind of got overlooked. But he was on there, I believe, on YouTube. It has about 3.9 million views. I know most of his listeners listen on podcast or on Spotify, so it's kind of a misrepresentation. So it's still getting the watches, but it's definitely not being discussed as much. And there's a lot of important topics they discussed in this 3 hour podcast. I pull up some clips from Twitter, so you don't have to watch the whole 3 hours. Basically, discussing all the key important parts of the discussion. So if you're interested in content like this, make sure you like, subscribe down below, and we'll just jump right into it. So to start off with, basically what everyone's been saying Elon is this word right here. I don't know how YouTube censorship is when it comes to this, so I don't know how much it's going to get actually pushed out. But obviously, liberals have been using this word right here for Elon for what, like at least a month now. They've been saying it for conservatives for like 10 years now. But so basically, Joe Rogan's like elephant in the room. Let's talk about this. So here's a little clip.
Here's what's weird. First of all, what is it like to buy a company for $44 billion and then people call you a Nazi on that same thing that you bought?
I did not see it coming. It's classic. People will go say anything down.
Yeah. Oh, he's never going to stop.
Wait, what?
What is it like? Like all this, people used to, the left was in love with you.
Yeah.
And now the same idiots are calling you a Nazi. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
there's so many examples of people saying my heart goes out to you. You did it with a little enthusiasm that probably wouldn't be recommended with hindsight.
Yes, but I was obviously meant in the most positive spirit possible.
Yes,
yeah,
obviously. But it's so strange where people want to think that you are openly publicly doing secret Nazi Sieg Heil hand motions.
And now I can never point at things diagonally. I can only point at things there and there. And then so you have to divide that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the spaceship is, over there. And it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When,
So basically, obviously, he has no hard feelings about it. When you're in a position like that, you know people are going to criticize you for every little thing. You have to learn to kind of just let it bounce off you. But they're basically calling out like the ridiculousness of it, because there's people like, this is how much Elon supports free speech. You're allowed to call him a Nazi on Twitter, the thing he owns. Like, that's insane. And the fact, and what's crazier too, is a lot of these people are monetized on X. So they're literally getting paid by Elon Musk to insult Elon Musk. Like, name another country where you can do that with like your own government, your governmental figures. I don't even know if you can really do that on like Facebook and stuff. Like, this is next level, like, shows his support for free speech. These people are literally getting paid by Elon to insult Elon. So obviously, it doesn't really affect him as much. They both think it's kind of like ridiculous because he was loved by the left. Like Tesla, before 2021, I would say, when he started talking about buying Twitter and talking about supporting free speech, he was loved by the left. He had the number one electric car company, still is the number one electric car company, supports abortion like crazy. Like, he pays for his employees to travel to other states if it's banned in their state. Like, no one talks about that. He's definitely more on the liberal side when it comes to like the environment and everything. Like, he's not this right-wing conservative like the media tries to paint him out to be. He's definitely more liberal. And it shows that, like, even if you disagree with one thing on the left, they will just shun you. Like, his biggest thing is free speech. That's always been his biggest thing, and they've shunned him ever since then. Like, it's really insane because he doesn't agree with censorship, that the left is like, no, you can't be a part of us anymore. And people are like, oh, we need to get rid of our Teslas and we need to do this and that. And it's like, what? It literally makes no sense at all. And these same people that say we need to get rid of our Teslas because we don't want to support Elon because of him being you know what, are the same people that are buying Volkswagens, which started from these people. So yeah, those people clearly don't know their history. Another thing too, which this is new to me, so I don't know how many of you guys use X's AI. It's called Grok. So it's basically like Chat GPT. You can ask it anything, it'll give you an answer, pretty unbiased. Apparently there's an unhinged mode, which is pretty funny. So just listen to this.
Do you think that all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Do I think all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Yes.
Are you a fucking conspiracy theorist?
Yes. Yes.
So the new unhinged mode in Grok will basically just call you out and cuss at you like you're like insane. Like, what are you, an effing conspiracy theorist? Like that's pretty funny. That is just it seems more human like almost, because obviously AI comes off really robotic. So it definitely humanizes it more, which is kind of scary. AI can get to that point, but it's also funny at the same time. Another thing people like to talk about with Elon that he's discussing is that people say like, oh, he had nothing to do with how Tesla was brought up, Tesla started, anything like that. He just came in with billions of dollars and purchased it. I think back then, I think it was $100 million investment he made. I think it was after selling PayPal or whatever the thing he was doing before. Made a $100 million investment because Tesla wasn't really anywhere. And this is basically him talking about it.
Well, you came in at Tesla in the beginning, but they were already doing something, right?
No, Tesla did not exist in any meaningful form. There were no employees. J.B. Straubel and I joined 3 other people. There was no car. There was no nothing.
So it wasn't even a prototype yet?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a prototype already.
No. There weren't even any employees.
Oh. Wasn't it that's a funny narrative that people like to say, that you didn't even create Tesla then.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, so basically saying there was nothing. It was nothing before he got there. Obviously, it wasn't just thanks to him. There's other people involved too, but it was very few people. Like you mentioned, the J.B. Straubel, I joined 3 other people. There was no other car. Yeah, so obviously there's other people to thank for it, but still, Elon's a part of the start of that. Like, if it wasn't for him, it definitely probably wouldn't have gotten to where it is now, being the #1 electric car company. They move on to talking about migrants coming into the country. So this is another thing, if you want to argue it makes Elon Musk conservative, is that he doesn't want all these illegals being in our country, which I feel like is common sense. But I feel like a lot of Democrats just have to be so anti-Trump and anti-conservative, they automatically just side with it. So one thing that a lot of people think would have happened if Kamala Harris became the president is that they would have given all these illegal citizenship. It's not something she's ever outright said, but it's definitely been like hinted at. Like, obviously her and Biden let in 10 million of them in just a 4-year span. So obviously they weren't doing anything to negate them coming in until the election year, of course, when they pretended to try. So they're basically discussing this and basically how they were going to use this to become like full permanent in control, because these people would have most likely been Democrat voters, which makes sense. If you're fleeing to a country and that country's like, hey, we'll give you citizenship for free, just vote for us forever, you're going to take it. Like, that's, anybody's going to do that. You're basically thanking the people that made you citizens.
You put 200,000 illegals in there, and they have like a 80% likelihood of voting Dem. And it's only a matter of time before they become citizens. Then those swing states will not be swing states in the future. And if they are not swing states, we'll be a permanent one-party state country. Permanent, deep blue socialist state. That's what America will become.
And that was the game plan.
That was the game plan. That is still the game plan. And so they almost succeeded. If the machine of which the Kamala puppet was the representation had won, that's what would have happened. The reason I went so hardcore for Trump was because, to me, this was a fork in the road, a very obvious fork in the road. If they had another 4 years, they would legalize enough illegals in the swing states to make the swing states not swing states. They would be blue states. Then they would win the presidential. They'd win the House, the Senate, and the presidency. DC into a state, maybe Puerto Rico, get 4 extra senators, pack the Supreme Court. So then you'll have the House, Judiciary, Senate, and presidency, all blue. And then they will keep importing more illegals to cement that outcome. Basically what happened in California.
Yeah, so basically they want them all to come in, give them citizenship, then they'll just vote blue forever, which, like I said, if you're getting citizenship from a party, then yeah, you're going to vote for them forever. It's like a thank you for bringing me to this country for free. And I mean, he's probably not wrong there. Like I feel like the whole Biden administration, the whole presidency, they were more worried about retaining power than actually helping people. Like they were barely seen, they barely communicated anything, they barely talked. Like just the whole difference between Biden and Trump, it's been like night and day. Like Biden didn't do press conferences. He would talk to world leaders, but only behind closed doors, no cameras, scripted. Like even those events were scripted. So who's really in charge if Biden's reading a script? And then you have Trump that does a press conference like every single day. And if he's not doing that, regardless if you like him post on True Social or not, he communicates in one way or another. So it's really nice having a president that communicates with the American people. So, but this whole administration just didn't seem like helping the American people. And obviously just flowing in illegal migrants doesn't help the American people. They're taking up our resources that we pay for, and they don't. They were all living in luxury hotels in New York City that were like crazy expensive, while you had homeless people all over the streets that didn't qualify for it. So it's like, why are you doing this with your resources? American citizens to come first. And I think this is a big reason why Trump won the election, is because people saw this. People saw this as an issue. And honestly, immigrants that come here illegally, this is like a giant middle finger to them, because all the people that do it legally are coming through the process. It's a long process. And you could argue, yeah, it should be a little shorter, maybe a little easier, but it's a long process, and people take the time and the years to go through it. So seeing all these people just coming in and getting all these resources for free, it's an insult to them. This is next is Elon talking about legacy media and how basically they just follow along.
I mean, doesn't it seem weird that the legacy media all says the same thing? They all say the same thing at the same time, using the same phrases. They don't even bother picking up a thesaurus.
Right.
So, like right before, the debate between Biden and,
Sharp as
and
a
Trump.
tack.
Sharp. Everyone was saying sharp as a tack. Like, who says sharp as a tack? But
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's like it's not a common phrase.
It's definitely not common to be repeated on air with multiple people simultaneously. That's weird.
Yes.
That's coordinated.
100%.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of people saying it simultaneously. They just got their instructions.
Yeah.
So I mean, essentially, the Dem leadership, or political leadership, they issue their instructions, and they're
Yeah, so basically, this is what a lot of people think in general, is that all the mainstream media just teams up together and says and repeats the same thing. If you talk about like CNN, MSNBC, The Hill, New York Times, they all just repeat the same phrases. They all lie about the same things. They're very misleading with their headlines. Like, this is what they do. And you have other news sites that are less biased, and you could tell which ones don't follow along and which ones do. And a lot of them clearly follow along with the Democrat Party. Like, they will defend them till the end of time. They will cover up everything. Like, what people have been saying is how much Trump is golfing, saying, oh, he's golfing too much. What's crazy is when Trump golfs, he still works. He's doing like today, on Saturday when I'm recording this. He's, I think, golfed this morning or later today, but he's also doing like an hour, 2 hour long press conference. Biden used to disappear on like a Thursday, spend a Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the beach, not talk to anyone, not communicate to the American people at all, and then come back like on a Tuesday and work for 3 days. The media did not say one thing about that. Now all of a sudden they care if the president is not at the White House enough. Like, it's so hypocritical. So this is, no, let's just skip this one. So this is something I definitely want to look into more. I'm not too familiar with this. Elon and Joe Rogan are talking about NGOs, which I think is like a loophole to get money, because when you're doing campaign money and stuff like that, you're supposed to be limited on a certain amount unless you have PACs and NGOs. And I think this is like a loophole to get money to politicians and everything. So I'll hear them talking about it.
Case we saw one person was getting $1.9 billion sent to their NGO, which basically got formed about a year ago and had no prior, no prior activity. The whole NGO thing is a nightmare. And it's a misnomer, because if you have a government-funded non-governmental organization, you're simply a government-funded organization. It's an oxymoron.
Right. It's a loophole.
Yes. It basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to, people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
It's so insane that that's been going on for so long.
It's a gigantic scam, like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands.
Yeah, so basically it's a different way to funnel money. So you're basically, it's supposed to be NGO, I think it's like a non-government organization, but yet it's funded by the government. So, and it's like a way for people to become like very wealthy, and it's like a loophole, and it's like you said, it's a scam. So I definitely want to look into that more. I like, obviously with PAC money, it's something similar where you can get unlimited money from PACs and you don't even know where half that money's going. So this, I think, talks a little, so this is talking about Doge to natural disasters. This one's kind of long, so I'm going to speed up a little faster.
Ignoring certain core facts. Like, this is the most fascinating thing about this USAID thing to me, is how people on the left are completely ignoring all the rampant, obvious corruption and conflicts of interest in the government funding non-government organizations that in turn fund the government. Like, that's so crazy. And anybody that doesn't think that's crazy, it's like, what, you love money influencing everything in your daily life? Don't you think that maybe we have a problem in that we have a huge deficit? And if part of our huge deficit, we're spending fucking billions of dollars every year on horse shit?
Yeah, I mean, that is my issue with
Elon Musk. My bad, guys. I thought it was Elon Musk. Let's see. So this is talking about George Soros, and obviously liberals were like, have been crying about, oh, Elon bought the election, blah, blah, blah. They ignore the fact that Kamala had 3 times the amount of money raised. Kamala had more billionaires on her side, and the liberals have had George Soros since like the beginning of time, and they don't care about that. It's only when it's on the other side.
Money, like George Soros was really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into a $1 billion NGO. And a nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a non-governmental organization.
So basically talking about how George Soros has basically broken the system to his advantage to funnel money to wherever he wants. Like, that's absolutely insane. And then one last thing I want to talk about in this video, they were talking about, so I'm sure a lot of you probably saw we were supposed to get the Epstein list the other day, and it was pretty disappointing. And it's supposedly the rest is at the FBI office in New York. I think it was supposed to be on the Attorney General's desk yesterday. It still wasn't. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with that. I don't know when we're going to hear more about that. So basically, in this video here, talking about kind of like how disappointed they were, and it's weird what's like going on with it. I'm very confused.
So,
was that what's taking so long with this Epstein files?
Yeah, what's up with that?
What is up with that? It was like,
yeah,
it's like Lucy and the football with Charlie Brown, when she always pulls that football away. It's the same thing. It's like they keep telling us they're going to release it day one. Oh, day
we have
one.
a serious case of no one's being arrested ophobia,
Well, there's also, right.
Like, what the fuck's going on?
What the fuck is going on? Also, there's this real fear that someone's destroying the evidence. And you keep hearing these stories, unsubstantiated stories of, FBI people.
Where is the evidence? I mean, the guy had like tons of videos and recordings.
Yeah.
I mean, he had all sorts of things.
Right.
Like, it's a mountain of evidence.
Right.
So where's that mountain?
Yeah, where's that mountain? And what would be the reason why they would agree? Like, there would have to be something in it for them to agree to not put it out, right? Like, there has to be some sort of financial entanglement, some sort of relationship with the people that are on that list that they can provide a value that was big enough for you to not release it or to slow release it or to hope you can get away with, like, putting out some redacted files that don't show anything.
Yeah,
this is only stage one.
Redacted.
Only stage one, don't worry. The real stuff's coming. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why wouldn't you just release it all? Like, what could possibly be worth protecting in there?
I mean, I think I've got probably the same information that, I mean, I'm just reading what's the latest thing on the, I'm just looking at my X feed, and I'm like, it's a real page turner. And like, I thought we were going to get some revelations today. I was like, big binders full of stuff.
Yeah.
There's got to be something in there.
Well, there was all those people that were given a copy of it. They were all like waving it around. Like they got the Willy Wonka ticket.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And what happened?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So
I think Laura Loomer released it online. I think, right?
Because she's not very.
So basically, it's talking about how it's weird. Like supposedly, well, they make good points here. Basically saying for people that in the FBI that want to hide this so bad, there's got to be something in it for them. Like, how can you knowingly hide information like this? What this man did, what all these other rich people did to poor innocent people, and you're gonna be like, oh well, the public shouldn't see this. Like the public should absolutely see this, and the fact that you're hiding it's absolutely disgusting. There's got to be someone paying them, or they got to be buddies with someone on the list, or something. They're protecting someone, and this is exactly why American people want someone like Kash Patel to take over. This is what like the trust in the FBI is at an all-time low going into this election, and then they're still doing stuff like this that's shady. They're still hiding stuff from the American people. It's shady, and this is why hopefully Kash Patel gets in there, fixes this. He's been transparent about the issue. I don't know if he's fixed it yet. He came out with a statement, I think yesterday, the day before, saying they're looking into it. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's like these people need to be fired. Whoever's hiding this info or blocking it, whatever, burning the information, whatever it is, they need to be fired. Like it's insane. Like the American people deserve to see what's going on. So that's pretty much it. If you want to watch it yourself, it's on his YouTube page, 3 hours long, very long. I think it's a little bit longer than his normal podcast. But make sure you like, subscribe down below, comment what you guys think about this debate if you saw it. And I'll catch you next time.